Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everyone out there doing today? So, back with another morning video. Okay, quick thing to get into before I get into the other questions that were left behind. So, there apparently is a glitch in the system when it comes to paying dependents and survivor benefits. Okay, so for this month of October, there is a glitch in the system. The VA is aware of the glitch where there are a lot of college students and some survivors of survivors who were left behind for veterans who died in the line of duty who have not received their benefit payments as of October 1st. So, because there is a government shutdown, the hotline number that normally would take these calls is not open. They're closed. They're furloughed. So the VA has came out yesterday. They come out yesterday, excuse me, and they talked about this, and they're supposedly going to come up with a solution to help those people who have not been paid for the month of October. So hopefully they can get this cleared up sooner rather than later. But they are aware. So if you have a child that is currently in school that's supposed to be receiving their stipend this month and they have not received it, it is because of a glitch in the system. They're trying to fix it as fast as they can. That's what the VA is claiming. So just know they are aware of it. They're supposedly going to get it fixed, and hopefully everything can get back to normal. But the normal number that they would be able to call is no longer available because of the government shutdown. Okay. So anybody you know in that situation, make them aware. The VA is aware that there's a glitch in the system and a lot of people are not getting paid. All right. Who I got on with me? What up, Janice? Haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? Mr. B, what's going on? How you doing today? OT, saludos. How's it going? Okay, let me answer a couple questions that are left behind. Of course, I don't know everything, but I try to answer the things that I do know. First question that I got that was left behind. And I believe this is a question that I've gotten before, but I'm going to go ahead and answer it. It's about the visa situation here. Now, I did a whole video. It might have been a year ago, and it was from a channel that was called The Wondering Investor, where they talk specifically, and I'm gonna pull the video up so you can see. You can go to his channel, you can rewatch the entire video. I'll give him credit for it. Where they talked about all the different types of visas, from digital nomad visa to retirement visa to investors visa, so on and so forth. So this is the video. This is an updated version of the video because they did one last year, right? This was a month ago. It's called The Wondering Investor. And this is the attorney right here. His name is Alan. He's probably been on many other YouTubers' channels talking about this very topic because he's an immigration lawyer as well as a tax attorney. So he does quite a bit at his law firm here. All right. Most people who live here know who he is, the gentleman right here. All right. So to answer your question that was left behind when it comes to the migrant visa or the investor visa, because there are some of you veterans who have applied for the visa here. And because of, I don't know, your mental health situation or your overall health, you didn't get approved. Now, I will tell you this, there's a big difference between being deemed inadmissible and a flat out denial. A flat out denial means they're not going to approve it. Whatever you do, they're not going to approve it. Inadmissible basically means you can go back. It might have been something with your paperwork, it might have been something that was omitted or whatever, but you have the opportunity with inadmissible to go back and redo it. But a flat out denial, no. Now that's a whole different situation. And your immigration attorney, whoever you're using, should be able to explain that to you. But to help the person out who asked about an investment visa versus a retirement visa, it doesn't matter which visa you get. You still have to go through the same process of getting an FBI background check. You got to pass a physical exam and you got to be able to pass a mental health exam. You got to have somebody sign off on your mental health. Now, are there veterans here who are currently rated 100% for mental health and they were able to get a visa? Yes, they had someone sign off on their mental health, that they are mentally capable of whatever the country deem is safe enough for them to be here. There are veterans who do have it. Okay. But is that going to be every veteran situation? No. No, it's not. Okay. All right. Let me move to the next one. What's going on, Mr. Miles? How you doing today? All right. So let me move to the next one, which is a question about buying property here, investing in property. Okay. There's no really easy way to say this, but you have to be careful who you're dealing with buying property, and talk to an attorney, a reputable attorney. Find a reputable attorney, okay? Because the way it is set up here, all right, let's say, for example, that you can get an investor's visa by buying property, by buying property. And let's say the minimum you need to purchase a property is $130,000. Okay. You can buy that $130,000 property and it will get you a visa. Okay. Because you qualified now. That visa should be good for 3 years. Here's the problem. That amount of 130,000, it does not stay that same amount every year. So this is how people get screwed. People will come and ask, okay, what's the minimum I need to purchase? 130,000. They'll buy 130,000. They're here for 3 years. They go back to renew 3 years later. Guess what? It's no longer 130,000. It might be 137. It may be 141,000. So now what does that mean for you? You no longer qualify. That's what that means. That means you got to start completely over. Either you got to do some other type of visa, but the 3-year time that you got, you're about to lose. You're about to start completely over. Okay? So you have to be careful, those of you who want to buy property to get a visa. All right? Do not buy a property where the visa, if it's 130,000, you may want to look at something that's 150, 170. So you're covered whenever the amount goes up, because you don't know what changes they're going to make between there and now. And that caught a lot of people off guard. There are a lot of people who bought homes here that they would like to use for an investment visa, but because of the amount of what their property is worth, they don't qualify for it. So you got to be careful with that. You got those are tricks that people do here, and some realtors here are known for that, which is why I'm telling you all, you need a reputable attorney and a reputable realtor if you're going to go that route of buying property to get a visa. All right. Couple other questions, and then I'll see if you guys have any questions in the comment section. Digital nomad visa. Digital nomad visas have no pathway to citizenship. I'm going to repeat that. Digital nomad visas have no path to citizenship. So if you're coming here and you're trying to get the digital nomad visa and you plan on becoming a citizen later on, the digital nomad route is not a route to get you citizenship. It is not. That visa, you can get up to 2 years, which they become very strict with that visa now. And if you read it, and if you watch the video I just showed you, digital nomad visa wasn't intended for digital nomads to be here the entire 2 years. Okay? It wasn't. Digital nomads are supposed to be somewhere for a little while, then they move on to somewhere else, and then they may return later on, but it was never intended for them to be here the entire 2 years. So just know that going in, but there is no pathway to citizenship using a digital nomad visa. All right. Last one, and we kind of touched on this. I think me and Howard had talked about this early on the Saturday roll call, which is this. If you are a single male coming to Colombia, doesn't matter what city you're going to, if you're a single male, and Mike had mentioned his experience when he was here last year, but they've kind of ramped it up, okay? Be prepared, because don't carry anything that will be perceived as possibly illegal or potentially illegal. Be careful what you have on your phone because they're gonna make you unlock it. They're gonna make you open your bags. They're gonna make you take your shoes off. They're gonna take you down to secondary. This has become widespread throughout Colombia. This is not new. They have taken a different stance, I'll say that, against single males. All right. Sometimes they even escort you like a prisoner to your seat, okay, on the plane. Or they may call you off the plane and you may end up missing your flight because of secondary checks. So I'm making you aware. Do not be surprised because it's already out there in social media. It's already out there on TikTok, people crying about privacy and this and that. Your privacy and all that concerns is in the US. Once you get on that plane and you cross those waters and you come somewhere else, the laws of that country take over. Your US laws don't mean nothing over here. Okay? So be sure you understand that. All right, what you didn't just pay an additional 7,000, not paying 130,000 every year. No. Okay. So let's say you want to be a investor, you want to invest in properties to get a visa. Okay. They set a minimum amount for the visa for a property to get a visa, all right, at 130,000. That 130,000 minimum will get you a visa because that 130,000 qualifies you for a visa that year. But as the cost of living adjustment increase, that amount does not stay the same. It won't stay at 130. The next year, it might be 133. The following year, it may be 135. But remember, you have a 3-year visa. So even though those amounts change, it doesn't affect you because your visa is good for 3 years. Once you go to renew and they see where the amount is now to qualify for that visa, but your property is still only worth 130, maybe 135, but to qualify for the new visa in 3 years, it might be 150,000. That means that your property no longer qualifies you for that visa. That's what happens to a lot of people here. They'll buy a property at the minimal amount, not thinking the cost of living is going to raise the price of what the visa is going to be the following years going down. So if you don't buy a property that gives you a cushion, right, to where if you know you want to become a citizen and you need to be here 5 years, and like I said, it's at 130, you might want to look at 150 to 170. That's enough cushion to where in 3 years, let's say the value rose to 138, where you're at 150, you're still above. So you would qualify the next 3 years for another visa. Hopefully that's clear. All right. You're not paying additional money. When you make your initial payment for the property, you want to make sure you're buying a property that's for the future, not just for right now. Most people, when they buy, they're buying for right now, not thinking about the future and cost of living as it goes up. No. Okay. I'm going to try to explain this again. All right. You're coming here to invest in a property so you can get a 3-year visa. Okay. At a minimum, they want you to invest $130,000. Okay. You invest $130,000. All right. You have the cost of living adjustment, just like in the States here. That means every year the visa increases, the qualification increases every year with the cost of living adjustment. So if you only buy what you need at this point, it'll get you a 3-year visa. But 3 years from now, when the cost of living adjustment rises the qualification for the visa, you will not be able to qualify. And this is what happens. Okay, let's see. You joke. Okay. Because I'm like, come on now. All right. Cool. All right. So that's pretty much all I got for today, guys. I wanted to make sure to get that out about the glitch in the system, and the VA is aware of it. Sorry for all those kids out there that are in college that depends on that stipend and they're not getting that stipend this month. They didn't say when exactly they were going to fix the entire problem, but supposedly slowly rolling out. People are starting to get their payments. How many? I don't know. But I know that it's for survivors and it's for dependents, especially kids who are going to college. And isn't this a hell of a time for the government to be shut down where they can't even call to find out when they're getting paid? Nothing. So it's a mess. Have you guys heard of any good news at all? Have they made any progress on the government shutdown? From what I've been seeing, they'll hold votes and the votes will go the exact same way every single time. It doesn't seem like either party wants to give in to get this thing over with. So I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. All right. One last thing. I did this video that's titled How Veterans Lose Their Ratings. And it's actually titled How Do Some Veterans Lose Their Rating? And for whatever reason, people hear what they want to hear. They do. At the beginning of that video, I clearly say this video is about non-compliance, right? And what a lot of them seem to be stuck on is investigating bank accounts. Oh, they ain't gonna investigate your bank account. They can't even investigate their own bank account. Okay. Everybody pretty much knows how investigations go, right? So if you're being investigated, what are some of the steps that they take when they investigate you for potential fraud? I just did a story on the Washington Post. What did the investigators do besides set up cameras, send out investigators to watch the people who they thought were committing fraud? What else did they do? Check their financial records. I don't understand how people miss that part. It's beyond me how they missed that part. First, they didn't listen in the beginning because I was talking about non-compliance. I explained how VBA contacts the Office of the Inspector General. The Inspector General, when the government shutdown is over, I'm going to revisit this. You know why? Because the Inspector General's office has an entire page dedicated to what? Financial fraud. How do you think they catch a lot of these people committing fraud? They look into their spending habits, their banking. Where's the money going? How did they get it? I don't understand how that is such a, well, they don't do that. Who investigating a crime? What federal agency that investigate a crime that does not go into their financials? Whether it's a business or an individual, they're going to check their bank records. They're going to check their spending habits. But some veterans only hear, oh, they're watching you, as if I'm talking about every single veteran who gets benefits. I told in the beginning, veterans who are deemed non-compliant. It seems that there are a handful of people out there that miss that entire first 5 seconds of the video and only heard what they wanted to hear, which is sad. So I've made one other video explaining the process from how it starts all the way to how it finished. And I linked it and pinned it in that video. Hopefully people will read that. But of course, they will not. And they're going to leave crazy comments. And I talked to Mike about this the other day, man. There are some people out there who have nothing going on in their life but to scroll through YouTube, try to find something they disagree with, and just bombard your comment section with nonsense. And then they get mad when they're disparaging you, calling you all kinds of names, and then they get mad. Well, you took down my comment. Well, first of all, who do you know is going to allow you to sit there and call another grown man something crazy and they do nothing? Where that happens? Where that happens at? And then what's even more crazy is that these people create all these fake channels to do this. It's not like these are real channels that these people are doing it from. The majority of the people that do this create a fake Google account, throw a name up there, and then get mad when they say something disparaging and you remove it, and they get mad. And it's like, what? So whatever, man. That's part of the reason why I'm like, a lot of times, bro, it's not even worth it getting on here talking about stuff sometimes. But I have way more fun with you guys than dealing with that side of it. At some point, I'm just going to turn the comment sections off completely, especially going into 2026. I think I might just do that. And I told Mike that I'm going to just turn it off and y'all just going to have to come to the live show for your questions, because some of these vets up here, and I know with medication and some of the things that they may be going through, they just sometimes don't listen carefully to what's going on. They hear parts of what's going on and then they run with it. Once they hear the part that they don't agree with, they off and running. They didn't hear anything prior to that, just this particular part. So it's like, okay, cool, whatever. But anyway, guys, that's it for today. I appreciate everybody watching as always. Tomorrow, there will be Saturday roll call, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's Saturday roll call, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And Warrior, when you watch this, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I don't know, I think you're on East Coast time, so you're an hour ahead. So it'll be 9 o'clock East Coast time for you, Warrior, because I saw your last comments. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Peace. Enjoy the rest of your day.